Welcome to The Explainer. Sometimes you gotta be a bit of a financial detective to figure out what's really going on with a stock. So today, that's exactly what we're gonna do. We're gonna take a real analyst report on a company called Autozi Internet Technology, stock symbol AZI, and see if we can piece together the clues hidden in its chart. All right, so let's get right into it. The whole thing starts with a puzzle, really. It's the core mystery we're trying to solve. See, on this one particular day, two totally contradictory things happened with AZ, and it's a real head-scratcher. So, on the one hand, you've got the stock price taking a pretty serious nosedive. We're talking over 4% down in just one day. Now, to most people, that just looks like bad news, right? Plain and simple? But then, and this is where it gets weird, you look at the trading volume. That's the number of shares actually being bought and sold. And it was, get this, more than 21 times the daily average. I mean, that is a huge, totally abnormal surge of interest. So what gives? Is everyone just panic selling in a massive fire sale, or is there something else going on under the surface? Okay, so to crack this case, we have to start by gathering the evidence. What's the overall climate here? What's the big picture? And let me tell you, at first glance, all signs are pointing to a pretty powerful storm. First up is an indicator called the ADX. Now, think of this like a speedometer for a trend. It doesn't tell you if you're going north or south, just how fast you're going. And anything over 25 suggests a strong trend. Well, AZI's ADX is clocking in at almost 37. So, yeah, whatever trend is happening right now, it has some serious muscle behind it. Okay, so if the ADX is our speedometer, the Arun oscillator is our compass. It tells us which direction all that powerful momentum is heading. And for AZI, with a value way down at negative 57, that compass is pointing straight down. No ambiguity there. So let's put these first few clues together. The crucial point here is that the case for a strong ongoing downtrend looks overwhelming. The price is way below its long-term average, and pretty much every tool we've looked at so far is singing the exact same bearish song. But a good detective never stops at the obvious. They always follow the money. So that brings us back to that crazy volume, that 21 times normal activity. Where is it actually coming from? Are a ton of new buyers jumping in, or are the old holders all rushing for the exits at once? All right, let's look at a tool called On Balance Volume, or OBV. The easiest way to think about it is like a stock's long-term bank account. It just keeps a running total of the money flowing in versus the money flowing out. And for AZI, that bank account is low, and it's been getting lower. It's a pretty clear sign that over the long haul, money has been steadily walking out the door. Then we have something called ADOSC. If OBV is the long-term bank account, ADOSC is like checking the cash register right now. It's a snapshot of who's in control, buyers or sellers. And that strong negative number for AZ, it tells us that sellers are absolutely in command at this very moment. And there it is. This basically solves a huge piece of our puzzle. That massive trading volume, it's not a bunch of new buyers trying to catch a falling knife. Nope. It's the big players. We're talking institutional investors, and they are heading for the exits. They're the ones doing all the selling. So, case closed, right? I mean, we've got a powerful downtrend, and we know the big money is selling. It seems pretty open and shut, but wait a second. That's not the whole story. Remember, a good detective always looks for conflicting evidence, and in AZI's chart, there are some other clues that point in a completely different direction. And this slide right here perfectly captures the central conflict in this case. You've got one whole column of signals basically screaming sell, but then on the other side, you've got another group of indicators like RSI and Williams R, and they're flashing what's called an oversold signal. Basically, they're hinting that the price might have just fallen too far, too fast, that all the selling might be about to run out of gas. This right here, this is the key plot twist. It's kind of like finding a piece of evidence that totally contradicts your main suspect's alibi. The downtrend is definitely strong, no doubt about it. But these oversold readings, they suggest the trend itself might be getting exhausted, and that is where the idea of a potential short-term bounce or recovery sneaks into the picture. So now what? You've got this conflicting evidence all over the table. A powerful downtrend on one side, but signs that it's running out of steam on the other. How does an analyst even begin to predict what happens next? Well, the smart ones don't make just one prediction. They build scenarios. So they map out these different potential paths. What does a bullish recovery look like? What happens if the bearish selling continues? What if it just goes sideways? They even consider a low probability breakout. The point isn't to be a fortune teller and know for sure which one will happen. It's about being prepared for multiple outcomes, so you're ready no matter what the market throws at you. Okay, so we've weighed all the clues. The strong downtrend, the big money selling off, but also those nagging contradictory signals that things might be oversold. So, what's the final verdict? What's the conclusion to the mystery of stock AZI? As you can probably guess, the analyst's conclusion isn't just a simple buy or sell. It can't be. It's way more nuanced than that. It's all about balancing all of that conflicting evidence we've just dug up. And this table really does a great job of showing that tug of war that's happening inside the stock right now. So here's the real takeaway. The long-term forecast for AZI? It's looking pretty stormy. The downtrend is the dominant force here, for sure. But that intense selling pressure has also created the potential for a short-term bounce. A little bit of sunshine, maybe. And this really drives home a key point. Technical analysis is never about being certain. It's all about understanding and managing probabilities. And that really leaves us with a big question at the heart of all this, doesn't it? When you see a chart that's just full of contradictions like this one, is that a warning sign telling you to run for the hills? Or is it a hidden opportunity? Something high risk, but maybe high reward? You know, learning how to read these conflicting clues, that's what separates someone who just looks at charts from a real market detective.